Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Pitch Strike Chronicles. I'm Uncle Taz here with Rob and Donald. And the Yankees, unfortunately, have suffered their first loss. And I think there's a multitude of fingers that could be pointed in multiple directions. But all in all, it's not like the Yankees. Look, they were not going to go undefeated. They were going to lose a game. I thought it was interesting after the whole Milwaukee series and the torpedo bats. I was curious to see how the Yankees would fare offensively against a better pitching staff. And look, Corbin Burns, he showed why he got the money he did. He is a phenomenal pitcher. And the Yankees were able to kind of get the ball, get the lead until the bullpen imploded. And I want to start off with the bullpen. So Warren was phenomenal. But after a loss, I think it's better. We'll talk about Warren so we end the show on more of a high note. But with the bullpen, it really fell on Boone trying to get a little creative with the bullpen usage, and it just not panning out. What really was puzzling for me, guys, was you have all these off days. You have the meat of the order coming up, and he did not go to Weaver and try to at least get through that part of the order and then worry about the ninth inning. I think he was trying not to use Weaver to save him for the traditional closing situation. And it was a play from Boone that just did not work. What do you guys think of that, Rob?
Well, I think he wanted to save Weaver because we didn't have Williams, and we probably still won't have Williams for like another day or two. But in a normal circumstance, if Devin Williams isn't having a kid, so congratulations to him and his wife. But if it's a normal circumstance, we probably have Weaver pitching in that spot, and this doesn't happen. So it's one game. We're not going to go 162-0. We'll go 161-1. It's fine. So we're not going to suffer too much from it. Under normal circumstances, I get it. Like, why not go to Weaver and then worry about the ninth and the ninth? But if you have Weaver throw an extra like 15 pitches and you got to pull him in the ninth, then we're going to say you should have saved him for the ninth. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. I didn't really have any issues with the way he used the bullpen because Fernando Cruz, after a terrible spring, was lights out. The dude looked filthy. Everything we heard about that splitter was true because he was striking out everybody. Tim Hill ran into some trouble, but he's been otherwise good. And Mark Leiter, who has been fantastic this spring in his first two outings, made one bad pitch. I mean, it's one bad pitch to a really good hitter that's only got home runs this season. That's all Suarez has done so far is hit homers. His BABIP is 0, but he's got 5 home runs. So, look, you make a mistake to a pull hitter in a hitter-friendly ballpark, that's going to happen. And it happened. It was just over the wall, little league home run, so I guess it doesn't count, right? But it was a bad pitch out of an inning where he was one good pitch away from getting out of a jam. So I can't chalk it up to this guy sucks or they should have traded him. I got a reply from a certain troll saying this is why I said we should have got rid of him, completely ignoring about how good he was his first 2 outings. So these things will happen. The bullpen's not perfect. I still think the bullpen's good. Guys will have bad outings. It's not like Mark Leiter's prime Rivera. This is Mark Leiter we're talking about. He's prone to mistakes. He made one bad pitch yesterday, and it hurt the Yankees' chances, and it did lose us the game. So, again, damned if you do, damned if you don't with Weaver. Had he brought him in that spot in the 8th and he had to throw extra pitches, or if he gave up the hit, they would have said, why not go to Hedrick, or why not go to Ottavino earlier? And it would have been question mark after question mark. I don't think Boone's issues last night were from his bullpen usage. I'll say that much.
Donald, what do you think?
Hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah.
Leiter, actually, to be honest, I don't think he looked that bad. It was just that one pitch. It was an awful pitch. Don't get me wrong. It was an awful pitch, and you cannot throw it in that spot. It was as flat as a kipper's dick, and it got absolutely smashed, right? So, I mean, I'm not surprised that it ended up going as far as it went because it was a horrible pitch. But really, like the strikeout prior, I was like, damn, he looks pretty good. He's looking good. And then, so, I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. If I've got an issue with Boone, it's the Dominguez stuff. And maybe pinch hitting for Pablo Reyes. Pablo Reyes, I can't even keep a straight face even saying that. That is some stupid stuff. But, I mean, this bullpen management, first of all, we're barely in April, and we don't have a closer right now because he's on paternity leave. And shout out to him, man. I hope everything goes well with the baby and stuff like that, and lots of love from here from the Pinstripe Chronicles for him. But I think that has something to do with it. To be honest, I think he's probably being smart. He's like, well, if I use Weaver 2 innings here, then maybe that's going to stop me from being able to use him tomorrow. And then who do I go with? So he's probably thinking, you know what? I'm going to save him for the 9th. Let's try and get there. It didn't happen. And to be fair, Leiter had a good spring. And Leiter looked pretty good his previous outing. Hindsight's always 20/20. I know that if this was September, if it was August, the decision would have been different.
It really is.
Yeah, exactly. It's April, and I think the Yankees are playing it. Boone's playing it smart. To be fair, I'm not going to blame Boone on the bullpen management. I know it's a popular thing to do right now, but it isn't. I don't really think it's a big deal. I can't really be that mad at it. To be fair, I think Suarez is a really good hitter. Had really good hitters, can get around on pitches, and it was an awful pitch. It was one awful pitch, and it came at the worst possible time. It's as simple as that. If you want me to call out Boone on the Dominguez stuff, then have at it, because that's some weird stuff.
Yeah, let's get into that, because I mean he was probably having his best game, and he looked more of a complete player than he had, and this is what I was worried about with the late inning substitutions for defense. You know, I said play it to the ballpark. Read the room of where you are, where you're at in the game, where the lineup is at, before making any of these substitutions. And kind of, if there really was one particular thing, like you were just alluding to, Donald, if there's one particular thing we could say Boone really dropped the ball on, it was probably not the use of the bullpen, but the use of the substitution with Dominguez.
You shouldn't be doing it. How are you supposed to? We're gonna get to the positives soon, Doran. Don't worry. But we're gonna get the negatives out of the way, because there were some positives last night, and Dominguez is one of them. But why are you pulling him out of a game? Because again, the best way to have a kid learn a new position, and it's now it's just shifting over to the left side or his right, but how are you going to help him learn if you're taking him out? And he actually looked good yesterday defensively. He made 2 easy-looking plays, and otherwise he may have messed up in spring training. He took good routes to the ball. He made the catch. It's all you can ask him to do. A good route, make the catch, make the play. And he did that yesterday multiple times. I don't get why they're taking him out when they are. It's not like this is game 4 of a playoff series, or if this is like against the Baltimore Orioles in September and first place is on the line, you want your best defense. Okay, I understand that, but it's April 1st, and you're taking him out of in the 7th inning on a night where he hit a home run and had 2 hits and was playing good defense. Why are you doing that? I get it. Trent Grisham's a Gold Glove defender, and Bellinger can play left, and you have Judge and right. That's your best defensive alignment, but it's also April 2nd, and you're not going to learn anything about a player if you keep taking him out. And in fact, that's probably going to hurt his confidence. It's like, hey, wait a second, I had a good night, and you're taking me out? Like, what did I do wrong here? Is there something I couldn't see a misplay in left field. If anyone saw a misplay in left, you could let me know, because I thought he played a fine left field last night. So that was head-scratching to me, and I said this on Twitter. His Dominguez decision and the pinch hitting of Reyes were head-scratching after a pretty flawless Milwaukee series. He did it against the Brewers in a close game, and that made sense because Trent Grisham ended up making a great play that helped us win the game against Milwaukee. But last night there was just no need for it because they took him out in like the 7th, and there was still an at bat that Dominguez could have had, and he was seeing the ball well. So I just didn't understand it. I don't think it helps Dominguez at all to keep doing it so often. You got to pick your spots with it. He wasn't doing anything wrong. I feel bad for him because he had a great night and he didn't get rewarded for it. His reward was getting taken out early and pulled from the game. So I don't like it. Keep him in left field for all 9 innings. Let him get a 3rd or 4th at bat at that point, and maybe he would have hit another home run or got on base again. But this over reliance on the bench on April 2nd after barely doing this last year is kind of annoying to me now. It's like you change your philosophy that much that on April 2nd you're playing this like a playoff game. I get it. You want to win every single game, but you were up pretty well, and Dominguez was one of your best players and one of the reasons you were up at that point, and they pulled him. I didn't get it. Why not keep him in? Let him learn as much as he can for all 9 innings. Let him play a full 9-inning game, and that's the way you can help him develop to where you won't have to take him out in April. It's the way they did it, the day they're doing it. I don't like it. They didn't even do that in the spring, I think. Like, they were just like, why are you doing this now? It's puzzling. You want this kid to be part of your future, and why are you taking him out of the game? I don't like it.
Yeah, Donald.
They're treating him like Jose Canseco when he was a Yankee. He's not. They're treating him like he's a complete liability in the outfield. And you're basically just telling Dominguez that you are a complete liability and I can't trust you past the 6th inning. What kind of a weird – it just feels like a weird narrative. And to be honest, what they're doing is they're cutting off their nose and spite their face. That's exactly what they're doing. They're cutting off their nose and spite their face. Because if you take out your bat, you're tempting fate. It was a very slim advantage we had after the 6th inning. It was only 4-2. Anything can happen. Anything. And you're tempting fate by taking out one of your better bats that's going to come up again, and you're fully trusting that this bullpen, which you know is shorthanded because your closer is on paternity leave, that's what just doesn't make sense. That's what doesn't make sense. So, Aaron Boone, I'm giving you the break for the bullpen stuff because it is shorthanded. However, with that in mind, do you not think, well, I can't use my A guys in this bullpen right now. Anything can happen from the 6th inning onwards. I probably should hedge my bets and keep one of my better bats in the lineup just in case it's a tie game or we go behind. But he tempted fate. And so that was a mistake. Another thing is this whole thing about you can't trust him past the 6th inning in case he makes a mistake or whatever. You're managing like you're afraid to lose, and you're always going to lose if you play to be afraid to lose. You've got to sometimes you just got to show a little faith, and the kid did nothing wrong. To be fair, man, he showed a hell of a lot more faith in Aaron Hicks when he dropped that ball several times in that one game. He showed plenty of faith in that guy. But Dominguez made every play yesterday. He made every play. Now, am I sitting here telling you that he's a great left fielder? No, I'm not saying that. But he did make every play yesterday. So what more does he need to do? He made every play, and he hit a fucking good home run. What more does he need to do to stay in the game? Now, I don't mind this decision if you're in the 9th inning and you want to go with your best defensive alignment. Fine, I understand that. That's okay. I'm totally cool with that. But in a situation after 6 innings, it's basically it's a very close game, 4-2. Anything can happen after 6 innings in a 4-2 game. Anything. No matter, even if you've got your best arms lined up one after the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I mean, even if you had freaking prime Mariano Rivera, you know what I mean, set up for the 8th and 9th inning, it's still really freaking risky to be taking out one of your better bats. Just because you don't totally trust his defense. And
I thought it.
As I reiterate, you're kind of putting him in an impossible position, because what happens when he does make a mistake? What happens then? Because he's not really made a mistake yet, and you're still substituting him at every opportunity. What happens when he does make a mistake? Do you know what I'm saying? That's what you keep interrupting me. What I'm trying to say is, like, how does that help him? How does that help his development? You're not really helping his development. How does that help his development? Taking him out after 6 innings, after he's done everything right. So what I'm saying is, let's think of it the other way. What happens when he makes a mistake? Are you going to treat him the same way? How is he going to learn otherwise? That means that you just got to just have a little bit of faith. And also, you're kind of cutting off your nose and spite your face also, because you don't then you move Bellinger, who's a brilliant center fielder, over to left field. Do you know what I'm saying? So you're kind of messing things up again. I mean, Grisham's a really good center fielder, but he's not a great bat, and you need Dominguez's bat. So it just feels a little pointless. Just to kind of mess things up, just because you're past the 6th inning. It's cutting off your nose and spite your face, and it's a weird decision, and they need to amend that. It's pointless. If you're going to be kind of cool with losing a game in April, then you've got to trust that Dominguez can play all 9 innings in a close game. I mean, in certain scenarios, fine, take him out. But in that scenario, no, don't.
Yeah, and this is more pro Dominguez. This isn't anti Grisham. Right? Because like we said, his defense late in the game could be beneficial. It was just the timing of it. Because what's gonna happen? You're gonna end up with that mistake. I was gonna throw this into your point, Donald. You're gonna see one of these where he knows he's gonna start getting the feeling I have one more chance to really make an impact on this game before I'm put on the bench, and he does something stupid. Rather than being like, all right, I don't want him forcing himself to make a dive for a ball, because he's like, all right, if I don't make it's the 7th inning, if I don't make this play, I'm going to be on the bench. And he wants to have that impact on the game to give the management confidence in him, because we have the confidence that he doesn't. It's. I just think like you said, you have to read the room. I think that was the whole problem with this whole situation. Is he going to be coming up in the batting order? What pitches are already being with the opposing pitching? What pitching has already been used? Out of their pen. Are they down to maybe their, unproven guys, where he may be able to kind of walk into one and get us a big hit. So I don't like that they use him. They take him out so freaking early. It drives me nuts.
He did have an impact on the game, though. He had a great impact on the game. So I just don't think he should have been taken out. We're all pretty much in agreement that there was a bad decision.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's April 2nd, so it's not going to really cost us too much. We're still 3-1, but it's something that I don't want to see happen too often. And I think Anna just said, like, Girardi agrees with the way that they're using Dominguez. One of the many reasons why I don't like Joe Girardi that much. If he's agreeing with that move, then that tells me he would have done the same thing. That's a bad move. I'm sorry. How else are you expecting to develop one of your top prospects? Like, think about it. Jackson Merrill, who I know is a better player at this point, but he just got a massive extension with the Padres.
And good for him.
Good for him. Totally deserved. He got paid, and I'm happy for him. Were the Padres pulling him out of the game late last year for defense?
Nope.
I know he's probably a better defender, but it's a situation where the Yankees are putting him in a new position. How do you want this guy to learn the new position? By taking him out after 7 innings or 6? It doesn't serve any purpose. It's like he didn't do anything wrong. Like, I don't want to keep repeating myself and repeating everything that we all just said. It's just he didn't have any misplays. He hit a home run. He had 2 hits. He was our best player last night outside of Rice and Volpe. It was only 3 guys that really contributed last night, and we'll get to the offense in a moment, but it feels like you're not, if you're taking him out, then you should probably take out Volpe for defense, right? Maybe go with the more sure-handed glove, even though Volpe's a good defender. Like, what are you doing here? I didn't like it, and I think that it's something that I don't want to keep seeing. And hopefully, last night kind of opened Boone's eyes that maybe he shouldn't do it unless the situation absolutely calls for it. Make sure Dominguez is not coming up at all, and then you can make that decision. If it's like you said, Donald, the ninth inning, you know for a fact, even if the bullpen blows it, Dominguez probably is not getting another shot at the plate. Then bring in Grisham. That's fine. Okay, I still don't like it because I want him to play all 9 innings, but it's a more understandable approach because you want your best defense in the 9th inning because you're trying to close out a game. That's understandable, at least more understandable than pulling him when they did last night. I didn't like it the first game, even though it helped. I didn't like it last night because it really did not help because Grisham, we thought he made a good play. He trapped the ball. It's fine. He made a good attempt, but his at-bat, when he came up, I think it was the 9th inning, didn't look good at all. So it's like he's a bench player for a reason, and he's not a guy you want up in a clutch spot. So it's
plus he was never used last year.
Exactly. So now all of a sudden he's being overused. He's being used more in 4 games than he was used at all last year. It's so puzzling.
I think there were points we forgot he was even on the team.
Right.
Really puzzling. Yeah. To jump on the Girardi Paul O'Neill thing, because they did agree with him being taken out, but that was actually in the prior series. There was a play where Dominguez he got a little, I wouldn't say lazy, but he wasn't fully concentrating on the ball going in the glove, and he snow coned it, and the ball kind of just sat at the top of the netting of the glove, the webbing of the glove. Do you know that play that I'm referring to? Where he didn't really fully watch the ball into the glove, right? Paul O'Neill broke that down very well, right? And so they were kind of all right with going, well, during these are kind of learning moments for him. I don't mind this, right? And I actually kind of agreed with it last series, right? Because the situation kind of called for having better defenders out there in the outfield. However, it's different yesterday. First of all, Dominguez made every play well. So whatever teaching moment that he had in the previous series, he obviously learned from it because he made the right read this time, yesterday. He watched the ball into the glove, made a nice play, right? And it was a slightly more difficult play because it was kind of like chest high. It was going at him, and he ran to it, made a nice catch. Good job. So why are you taking him out? He learned from the previous one. He's gotten better. Plus, he's hit a home run. And you still take him out. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm okay if you want to give him teaching moments. Cool. Good. But it kind of looked like he learned from it. So why are you punishing him for that? For taking him out after 6 innings? Makes no sense to me. Makes absolutely no sense to me.
No, and I want to get to this one comment as we switch to the offense, really the lineup altogether. And FJ's thrown in there, and is anyone concerned the offense was stifled? I know the home runs were exciting, but the big bats did nothing against better pitching. And that was kind of our argument against why everybody should not have made a whole big deal of the torpedo bat, because it's not an automatic that you're going to be productive at the plate every at bat. You still have to make contact on that specific part. And when you're facing better pitching, they're going to be able to move the ball around better. And Milwaukee's pitching is they're really in shambles right now. We got lucky that they were the first team we had. If we played them later in the year where all their pitchers are healthy, the whole series could be a different outlook. So I don't think it's so much, the bat. I think it really was, like I said, Burns pitched a great game. It was, better pitching is going to figure out how to shut down an offense. That's why they're aces of a staff.
Yeah, we're talking about facing Corbin Burns and facing Nestor Cortez. There's a huge difference there. Corbin Burns is one of the best pitchers in baseball, and even last night when we got to him a little bit, he was still moving things around. And I don't want to look too into it, but there is a good point to be made there by FJ because Judge didn't come through multiple times, and he just had a historic series. So let's not I don't want to dump on him, but Goldschmidt, Judge, Wells, Belly, Jazz, the bulk of our lineup that we need to produce did not, and we were gifted 2 runs by Mr. Cradle himself, so it wasn't like the offense was fully out there last night doing a great job, but again, we were facing a much better team, so I said it yesterday, like, the whole torpedo bat should never have been a conversation, because we were facing the Brewers got lit up in their first game against
Right.
I don't know who they played last night. Yeah, but they got smacked around. So it's not like it was just the Yankees that were doing it. But yeah, you're going from facing 3. Peralta's good. Nestor is not great, and whoever their third guy was, I forgot who they started game 3. Savali versus Corbin Burns. So Corbin Burns got paid because he's one of the best in the game.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate that our big bats didn't come through. But again, even in a night where we lost, there were some positives there. A lot of the younger guys did produce. Volpe hit another homer. Dominguez, Ben Rice looked really good last night. So there was some positives there. Yeah, so there were some positives there, and there was definitely some negatives. These are things that happened, and luckily we're 3-1, and we don't have to worry about being 1-3 or anything. So I didn't think we were going to beat Burns anyway. This team's if they're going to lose one game this series, it'll be the night they face Corbin Burns. And lo and behold, it wasn't Corbin Burns that actually beat us. It was the bullpen. So it was our bullpen costing us and their bullpen shutting us down late in the game. So better pitching most of the time will beat better hitting. And that's just been the saying. Gusto, what's up? Yeah, Gusto, if anyone doesn't know why he's saying he comes in peace, he accidentally booted me from one of NFT's streams. So now every time I see him, I let him know not to do it again. And I've been giving him these warning signs. But yeah, Gusto, good to see you in the chat.
Yeah, you know what? Corbin Burns is an excellent pitcher. I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah. You score a couple of runs on him, I'm pretty happy. You know, we got a couple of walks off with 3 walks off him. We drew 3 walks. 4 hits and 4 innings. That's pretty good work, man. I got a couple runs over the. Just we didn't break the door open, but that's hard to do. It's hard to do against a Corbin Burns. I don't actually, to be honest, I think the offense exceeded my expectations. Because I guarantee, if it was last year, I think we would have a worse result against them because. Our offense kind of sucked outside of basically Judge and Soto. So I'm already seeing a deeper lineup, more versatile, better at bats, 1 through 9. You know what? Aaron Judge kind of hit a home run every night. You know, close. Basically 2/3 of the season he'll hit a home run every night, but yeah, some nights he can't do it. So. I'm not going to look too deeply into it. To be honest, I'm not overly upset about yesterday. I'm just more perplexed about the Dominguez stuff, and obviously this Pablo Reyes thing. I don't know what's going on there. Like
what?
What's happening here? Like, what does he get a bonus every time he gets up to the plate or something? Like what's happening? Like, why is he being used all of a sudden? And why do you hate Peraza? These are things that just makes no sense to me. Why is a journeyman? This is the same stuff that they did 2 years ago. But why is a journeyman getting precedence over a young prospect who's actually really good and just hit a 2-run home run as previous at bat? And why are you ignoring him to go with this journeyman who you gave a start to, and he threw the ball all over the infield? You going to forget about that? And he's done nothing offensively. What are we doing? I just, I really want to just have one of these questions. I want to sit down with the Yankee front office and just be like, I really want the reasoning behind this. Because are you telling me that Pablo Reyes is better upside than Peraza? Even if you hate Peraza, you cannot convince me with a straight face.
There's no logic behind it. I texted you last night. I said Pablo Reyes pinch hitting, and I just put the laughing emoji. I was like, "What the hell are we doing here?" You know, it's like I get why he made the team. They were short of bats. He did have a good spring, but just his first 2 appearances have been like bad. The defense in that first game, he didn't have a good job at the plate, and last night he was the pinch hitter and the final at bat. And I get it, Cabrera can't hit lefties, but why not Peraza? Dude hit a home run his last time up. Why not try him out? If you can get back to the top of the order, anything can happen. And I don't know. I don't get what their obsession is with Reyes at this point. It's like when they had this obsession with Jahmai Jones last year.
Yes.
Remember he was batting leadoff? I mean, I don't know what they're doing. So again,
I had forgotten all about it until just now. Thanks.
Maybe they're just like hoping. I think it was brought up a little bit earlier that they're maybe waiting for his roster spot to open up. We did get some really good news on Stanton last night, which we'll get into. Maybe they're waiting for that spot to open up. So it's like, hey, let's get him some run before he can't play at all. Maybe that's what it is, but I still don't get it. Yeah, that's basically it, where they get rid of him and maybe they move him for a random player. You're absolutely right, Doran. I don't get why they brought him in that spot. I know they're going against. I think they were going against lefty. That's why they pinch hit for Cabrera. But I don't know. We saw Ben Rice hit a homer against the lefty. Maybe we should have let Cabrera get the at bat. In a sport where anything can happen, why not?
And Cabrera had a nice at bat. His previous at bat.
He did, yeah. So again, it's just puzzling, head scratching decisions from Boone. Luckily, it's only our first loss, and we're still 3-1. But still, things that kind of reared its ugly head last year, to see it coming back, it's kind of like, ugh, why are we doing this again? I thought you would have learned from your mistakes, but again, a winnable game that we lost.
Yep.
With some head scratching
moves.
moves.
This was pre-decided before. Because, just because of this whole matchup and lane shit, right? But I mean, if you watch the game, and Oswaldo Cabrera had a phenomenal play previously defensively, an amazing play, and he's looked okay offensively, and then you take him out for someone who looks like a complete clown out there, that has to be pre-decided before the game. And the same with Dominguez. Clearly it's pre-decided, right? If we have a lead after 6 innings, Dominguez gets pulled. Because if anyone watching the game would be like, well, Dominguez has looked fine in the outfield, and he's just hit a home run. You know what I'm saying? So these are obviously decisions that are pre-decided, and that is what I'm always going to fight against analytics for, right? Because these kind of things should never be pre-decided. I want my manager to be reading how the game is going, right? Now, call me old man like shouting at a cloud, but it's true. It's just like those kind of decisions make no sense, and it just hurts you at the end of the day. Do you know what I'm saying? It kind of hurts you. So just follow how the game's going. Do you know what I'm saying? Just follow how the game is going. Dominguez has done fine. Cabrera's done fine. Leave them. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's exactly what I was going to lead it into. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. No, it's put the book away. It really is. It's not that, look, we were going to lose a game. It's going to happen. Eventually, the Dodgers maybe will lose a game. But when that first loss comes, it's and we do it all the time. We all do it as fans. We try to nitpick and overanalyze to see what exactly went wrong. Was it, one particular swing at a bat? Was it one particular pitch from the bullpen, like with Leiter? Because if he gets that strike, if he gets out of that inning, he's a freaking hero today. So, and like we said, he's been really good so far this season, this year, spring into the season. So I know a lot of people were screaming for Leiter to be DFA'd, on social media, and getting on Tim Hill, who, all right, so he didn't have his best game either, but it's stop. It's one game. It's it's April. It's when the issues keep reoccurring that now we have a problem. It's if it turns into a like we had last year in August, then there's a problem. But we are far from that right now.
Do you know what isn't a problem? Our chat. Our chat is not a problem. So let's get into the chat. Let's answer some of these comments. And but before we do so, what we ask is if everybody who's watching could please hit the like button. It would do wonders for us, and please consider sharing it out to anyone you know who is a baseball fan. Doesn't matter if you're a Yankee fan or not, but maybe just likes good content. So I would recommend if you guys could do that, please. Yeah, and Anna Marie's got it. Share on your socials exactly. Who doesn't want to watch three handsome men talk about the Yankees? Huh? Let's get into the chat. Rajil the Great, not going to second guess anything right now. It's Game 5. Yeah, I mean that's probably fair. But we're not really. We're just kind of calling out things that just don't make sense. As I say, the popular thing right now is to eviscerate Boone for his bullpen management. But I'm okay
more of a reaction than overreaction.
But it's just the pinch hit stuff just doesn't make any sense to me. Like Will Starr's got it right. Why is Pablo Reyes still on this team? I've had enough already. Dude, exactly, man. I'd prefer Pablo Escobar than Pablo Reyes. Let's be fair. All these clubs doing extensions. We should sign our young guys cheap now. Yeah, well, we should have done that with Aaron Judge. And we would have saved ourselves tens of millions had we done that. The only thing, considering he's our one marketable asset. You waited until he hit a 762 home run season before you decided to extend them. Jesus Christ. Got Big Blue in the Bronx. My man Alex, salute to you, my guy. The umpire sucked. Anna says the umpire did suck. Jazz and him had a really weird altercation.
It's
what
so
was that about?
funny though. You see that face in the ump cam. That's probably the only time I've actually, aside from when the umpire got hit in the head last year, but the ump cam, I hate it. But Jazz's close up, he wanted to actually swing the bat at him. That strike call to Bellinger in this first inning was ridiculous. Right. That thing was in the dirt, and he called the strike, and you could clearly hear Bellinger saying, "No, no, no." It's just at that point, I'm thinking, please give me the goddamn ABS system, because these umpires they're doing it on purpose. They're so goddamn bad.
Will Starr Dominguez was our best player last night. He was one of our best players. That home run was beautiful. What a swing, Rob.
Oh, I'm happy for him. He got his first. Just leave him in the game. That's all I asked for. He had two great swings, and he didn't get rewarded for it. I'm still perplexed by that, but I'm very happy for him. We're gonna get into the positives. Don't worry, guys, because there was a lot, and Ken brought it up just now in our comments.
Let's do that right now. How about the positive? Jason had a good offensive game. Rice continues to hit well. Warren had a very good outing. Cruz rocked. Ottavino looked good. Yeah, let's talk briefly about the positives. Agree on all points.
No, I think the offensive game from the younger kids was definitely a positive. Like I said, when you get in production from the youth, it makes you feel better going. It definitely gives you a better feeling going forward. I thought it was nice to see the home run. He got his first out of the way, so now he could be a little more relaxed, because sometimes you're always chasing that first one when it's expected of you. So I was happy to see that you could cross that off his list. Ben Rice is actually doing really well with his role on the team. I have no issues with Ben Rice. I think he's really putting some good at bats together. And Volpe still having showing a little bit of that power swing coming back, and really squaring the ball up. And his defense has actually been improved as well. And I think Wells is going to be an all-star. I said it in our prediction show. I'm standing by it. He's on fire this year. I think that if it wasn't for that 13 pitch at bat that was brought up earlier, that 13 pitch walk, I mean, that was the fate for Burns, that he wasn't going to go much further, because that was a grind of an at bat that Wells won. So credit to Wells for having that plate discipline. Fighting off tough pitches, is not expanding the zone. That's what you expect to see, especially from a catcher, because who would know the strike zone better than him? Sitting behind the play ball game. So the youth is definitely giving you a lot. There's so much to be excited about with these kids.
That's why I like him leading off, because of that particular type of at bat, as you pointed out, Tax. Like those are the kind of things you want as a leadoff hitter. But I agree with that. Ben Rice is excellent, excellent. And if there's kind of a silver lining to the whole Giancarlo Stanton sized cloud, it's the fact that we're giving an opportunity to Ben Rice, which you wouldn't have done anyway. And he looks brilliant. Like he's bulked up. The guy looks like a tank, and he is hitting tanks, man. He is crushing the ball. Great authority, great exit velo. Guy looks like a machine. And now we've legit got ourselves a very good young player, young designated hitter who's going to be part of. Now I can confidently say he should be part of our plans moving forward. Even when Stanton is fully healthy, now we can actually start thinking of, wow, Ben Rice could legit be a really good power hitter. You can pencil him in for 20 home runs every year kind of power hitter. Rob.
Yeah, everything that we talked about with Rice last year that didn't show up, it's starting to show up so far throughout the spring and early on this season. It's still very, very, very early, but the early returns are very good. That home run against the lefty was impressive. He hit a screaming double last night that Corbin Carroll couldn't catch up to, and Corbin Carroll's one of the fastest people in the sport. So you know how hard you have to hit the ball to get it by him? So those are very encouraging. His exit velo, I brought this up multiple times now, but in the spring he had, or was tied for the highest exit velo in all of baseball. That can't go unnoticed, and you're starting to see it early on. This is why I always say exit velo and launch angle, they matter. Whether people like it or not, these things matter, because if the exit velo was a little bit slower last night, that's not a double against Corbin Carroll in right field. That's going to get stopped, and it's going to be a single. Without the exit velo and the launch angle, that's probably not a home run last night. So these things do matter, especially for a guy like Ben Rice, who you're trying to see what are the signs of an improving player. I'll use a Met, for example. Mark Vientos, one of their better younger guys, struggling to start the year, but his exit velo and everything are up. That tells you it's not going to last. Those are why these things matter. And you saw that for Ben Rice. He was struggling to start the spring, but everything was looking good in terms of exit velo and hard hit and barrel percentage. And now he had a really good spring statistically early in the season. Great stats so far. These things do matter. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Ben Rice. I loved what I saw from Dominguez. Volpe, would like to see a little more base hits and getting him on base, but the home runs are fun as well. Yeah, Austin Wells, what an at-bat that was. I get why Goldschmidt was leading off because reverse splits and all that for Corbin Burns, but hopefully moving forward we see Wells at the leadoff spot again, because it just works so well in the spring. I want to see it more often. Yeah, I think tonight against Gallen he'll be leading off.
Yeah. But it was a great night for our young guys. I mean, Anthony Volpe has surprised me massively. The torpedo bat has definitely helped him. I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying that, and it's just accentuating the positives of his swing, and he's been great. So salute to him, man, because I've been pretty harsh on him. So it's only fair that I call as I see it. He's been great, really, really good. Congratulations to him. Ben Rice looked brilliant. Jason Dominguez, very excited about him. Even when he wasn't hitting in the first couple of games, his at-bats were very, very good. So I was not worried, and that's why. Look at that swing yesterday. Will Warren, very good point. Battled all the way through 5 innings. That showed me something. What about Cruz? That splitter is disgusting, filthy, absolutely sick. He looks like a very good pitcher. Ottavino, very happy he's back, man. He is a born Yankee fan, and he's like 39. I think it was a smart little pickup by Brian Cashman. So I thought there was a lot of positives, man. I have absolutely no worries about that at all. Right, let's have a look at some of the other comments going on here. And it says, instead of Adam O, I would have preferred David Robertson. I mean, that's a pretty good shout. Although,
You go either or. There's no wrong move on that
yeah,
one.
exactly. I quite like the Ottavino signing, though, man. How will Dominguez learn? If Dominguez is red hot, you take him out. But he gets these situations. Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's exactly what the point is, man. That's why it didn't make any sense to do what they did. Let's see. G Miller 999 got to say, New York baseball fans are so volatile. Met fans wanted DFA Soto for grinding out all weekend. Yankee fans plan parade already. Then it'll flip in a couple of weeks. Hey, that's the nature of the sport. Although, to be honest, I think the Yankee fans have been pretty grounded so far. I don't think we're it looks like, to be honest, right, from a biased standpoint, but it looks like the rest of the league are angrier at the Yankees than the Yankees are doing anything, man. The rest of the league are going nuts about these bats that everyone in baseball's using or will be using. They're going nuts about that. And
dude, they're selling them on the websites now for people to buy, like Marucci and Victus. They're selling them. Like, you can go buy one right now if you want to, like $150, I think. But if you want to buy a torpedo bat, you can.
Exactly, man. Anna Marie, Donald's accent is so sexy. Hey, how are you doing? Let's have a look and see what other comments we got going on here. Got Ken Burns is an excellent pitcher. Exactly. He shut the Yankees down in the past. Wells 13 pitch at bat, bro. Burns spot on. Salute to you, Ken Claus. We love Ken Claus, and everybody sub up to his channel, The Ugly Truth. Let's have a look at the other comments. Ken says he was impressed with Warren's performance. I was too. It takes a lot of guts to go through 5 innings. Not a bad lineup. For me, it was a better lineup than the Brewers lineup. For sure. And they're a better team than the Brewers. So you know what? It's okay to lose a game. We'll live. What is it? FJ saying that our man Devers is 0 for 19 now, with 15 strikeouts. What is happening to the man? Mr. Barros, yay! Our man, Mr. Barros. Salute to my man here. Good to see he's back in the chat. Rob's dad. Stevie B, the fans are more happy calling Yankee cheats on legal bats than, you are spot on. Well, once again, thank you so much to everybody in the chat. Hit the like button, hit the sub button, share it out to your friends and family and the strangers in the corner. Thank you so much, guys.
But the torpedo bat was being used last year. Like, Stanton said he used it last year. Other teams were using it last year. Also, Stanton said that did not attribute to his injury. A lot of people are like, oh, that's the reason he hurt his elbows. And Stanton said yesterday, he's like, you're not going to get the quote you want from me. He's going to use that bat when he comes back, he said. So anyone thinking that's the reason he got hurt, the man himself just shut that down. So I'm going to listen to John Carl before I listen to some random Twitter user. So, like, again, these bats are not doing anything wrong. They're in regulation. MLB has to approve everything before they go out there to be used, and MLB approved them. The Yankees were not the first team to use them, but now, because teams saw the Yankees pelt the Brewers for 32 runs in 2 days, everyone's like, fuck, we'll start using them. Even now the Dodgers are going to start using them, so you think they're bad now, or good now. They're about to be 162-0 with these damn things. So can someone beat them just so they can have one loss? Because I'm afraid of this Dodger team. They might flirt with like 120 wins regular season. No, they didn't win. They blew it in the 8th, which I'm glad. I guess you were asleep for that, for obvious reasons. But you missed a bad inning. I'm glad you missed it, because I would have gotten a load of texts about Mark Leiter. That's for sure.
Yeah, for your well-being, man, you didn't want to see that ground.
No, you needed to sleep through that inning.
No, I can see
recovery. You don't want to see that.
Yeah, I can see a situation with the Dodgers, like a team like Miami's the one that gives them their first loss, or some team like you would really not that shouldn't beat them. Because that's just the way baseball goes. That's baseball, Susan. But the Dodgers, they are going to lose games. Everybody's getting all worked up with the Dodgers on social media. Some of these reporters, I don't want to bring up their names because they don't even deserve the airtime. But
well,
yeah,
let's go back to the torpedo bats because Michael Kay had a really good point. Aaron Boone said to him that, I mean, these bats aren't just something that you can just go to like, a sporting goods store and just pick up this bat. I mean,
it's a study.
It's like tailored to your swing, and they've like the analytics have like found like a certain point where you make contact with the ball more regularly, and instead of like the weight of the bat being at the top, it's now more evenly distributed, as we pointed out in the previous show. There's nothing illegal about that because, as I say, it's still the same weight. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just more evenly distributed to the point in which you make contact with the ball. And it looks to me like our analytics guys did something pretty kind of cool. And Stanton is a big fan of that. And he actually used the torpedo bat during that incredible October run that he had last year. So there you go. So he's a big fan of it, and he's going to go back to it once he's ready to. Once he's ready to go in the next month or two. So it is what it is. And by the way, people were using it last year, and no one was mentioning it, and not just Yankees. So we move on. It's such an annoying argument, and I blame those morons on X because it's spreading misinformation. Finally went for the nerds, exactly. I'm so glad our Yankee analytics staff finally did something useful.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but then they've also.
Hasn't that guy left the Yankees now? I think he's in Miami.
He's with the Marlins now. Yeah.
Holy.
Not like the Marlins are going to do anything well with it.
Yeah. Exactly, man. If I was Brian Cashman, I'm bringing that guy back, and I'm giving him a raise, bro. Because he's made Anthony Volpe suddenly turn into a really good freaking offensive hitter now. So.
Yeah, Ken brings up a good point though about Ellie De La Cruz. He hit 2 home runs with the torpedo bat.
Jazz Chisholm's gonna hit 40 with that torpedo bat.
So it's like, and Ellie De La Cruz is one of the best players in the game,
right?
And even he's like, yeah, if it helps. I actually had a conversation yesterday. I went to go get some pizza, and the guy who saw my Yankee hat. And he was asking me about the bat. We talked for a good 5 minutes about the bat. And I was like, if it works, he goes, yeah, I hope my Braves start using it because we can use the help. See? So it shouldn't be like, it shouldn't be this like, oh, the Yankees are cheating. And only one moron was really accentuating that, and that crackhead from Barstool. But, anyone that wants to listen to him, you're more than welcome to go snort something with him and be stupid like he is. But, hey, it helps. And now every team in baseball, I think they were talking to somebody, I think Joel Sherman and Heyman were talking to somebody from Marucci yesterday, and the guy's like, oh, the orders are going crazy. It was either from Marucci or might have been Victus. It might have been Pete that was talking to Victus, and Sherman and Heyman were talking to Marucci, but they said the orders are going through the roof. So it's not illegal. The Yankees didn't break any rules. Just because the Yankees scored 32 runs and everyone was like, hey, we should try it now because it's working for them. But again, the Brewers are just that bad, at least so far, because that was a playoff team last year. So I don't want to put too much hate on them, but they got absolutely torched, and it happened again after the Yankees played them. So maybe it wasn't the bats. It was more so the Brewers are just having a terrible start to their season.
It isn't a bat. All the bat does is it accentuates the positives of your swing. That's what, it accentuates the positives of when you make contact with the ball. And there's just a little bit more barrel to where you tend to hit the ball. That's really it. There's nothing cheating about that. It's very much the hitter. Because if you miss the freaking ball altogether, you're not going to hit fucking 40 home runs, and it ain't going to be the torpedo bat that's going to help you. So you still have to hit the fucking thing. So it's so pointless. This argument is so pointless and very, very irritating. And I really want this argument to end because, as I say, there's teams all over the league using it now. So, wow.
I do want to bring one more thing up before we close out the show because we still have to get to Will Warren. And his outing yesterday, I thought against that lineup was he had an amazing game. Was everything perfect? Was everything working? No, but when you have the pitching line that he did, I mean, what a difference from last year. He was actually getting ahead of batters, which was his biggest issue last year, was throwing strike one. So what about Will Warren's performance? How you guys feeling about him till we get some pitching back?
If he cuts down on the walks, he'll be fine. And that's all we need. What he did last night, if he cuts down the walks, that's all we're asking out of him. No one should ask him to be Garrett Cole. No one should ask him to be Luis Heel from last year. Last night, the effort he gave up the one home run, and that was like his worst pitch. And then it was the walks that really hurt him. But one hit, 5 innings, 4 Ks, that sweeper, whatever the hell it's supposed to be, I don't even know if you can call it a sweeper anymore. That thing is filthy. His pitch movement was fantastic. His command was decent at times, and it was rough at other times. But he got us through 5 innings. He only threw 84, 85 pitches. Not bad. On another night, he can probably give you 6, and that's what you want out of a starting pitcher. Get you through 5 or 6 innings, and if you can get more, you get more. But that's all we're asking him to be, is kind of like another version of Clark Schmidt more than another version of Heel or Cole. If we can get that from him consistently, this rotation should be just fine. And that was a really good performance from him because his last 2 spring outings, he did get touched up a bit. That was a really good performance by him last night. I just wanted to see him cut down the walks, and I think he'll be a lot better.
Donald, your thoughts on Warren?
My man here, he battled through 5 innings, and I liked how he came back stronger after giving up the home run. Because even before, he was looking really good. The home run came, and then he dusted it off and went back to work. It could have gotten away from him when he started to walk guys, but it didn't. He knuckled down and got the job done. He really made a point, and it's a really, again, as I point out, this Yankee young nucleus are really off to a great start this year. So if you want massive positives as well as the 3-1 record, it's the fact that our young guys are to a man coming through. And I want to finish on this. How about this? The Yankees' 17 home runs through 4 games is a new MLB record per Talking Yanks. So the Yankees have made history. The Yankees are on a historic run. 17 home runs through 4 games. Jeez Lou, that's like freaking video game numbers. So pretty cool. I'm looking forward to tonight's game.
Let's get to 20 tonight, shall we?
Why not? Why not?
Why not
Keep
21? Why not 22?
Why stop now?
Why don't we get to 27? Let's hit 10 more tonight. Let's bring out the Ultra Torpedo Bat where the wood is even further out.
What is it? The old wiffle ball bats that had the
Mark McGwire bat from 1999 or I'll never forget that commercial. It's a kid. He goes, not with this bat. He turns into Mark McGwire, and he starts hitting like dingers all over. It was like a wiffle ball bat, but I'll never forget that commercial because he morphs into Mark McGwire, and the kid goes, Mark McGwire, and that's going to be the next torpedo bat. You'll see. Give it like 3 years, they'll make that one. It'll somehow be in the weight limit, and it'll be approved by MLB, but the barrel's going to be like that big.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Game's on Amazon Prime tonight. Thanks for reminding me. That would have been a worry. Mike scrolling through the TV, going, "Where's the game?" So it's good. Amazon Prime.
Yeah. I like Gusto. Make it 23 for Donnie. All right.
Make it 22 for Ben Rice.
The new 22.
That is going to wrap things for us today. Hope everybody did enjoy the show. We enjoyed hanging out with you all, breaking down last night's game. We wish nothing but good luck to the Yankees for tonight. And we will be back Friday morning, breaking down the series, the awards, the whole 9 yards. So with that, make sure you hit that sub button if you want to join the chat in the future. Mark Gates, welcome. Boone is such a stupid jerk for only playing Dominguez. 6 innings. If you're gonna pull him for Grisham, at least wait till the 9th inning.
Oh, yeah.
We went into that an extent earlier in the show.
It made no sense.
It really didn't. But we'll see how it goes for the rest of the series. But with that, just remember to hit that like button, hit that sub button, share it out with your friends, your family, the strangers on the corner. This is the Pinstripe Chronicles. I'm Uncle Tats with Rob, Donald, and just remember, wear those pinstripes of pride and play hard.